Peloton Bike Plus versus Nordictrack S27i. In today's video, I'm going to help you make a buying decision on whether or not you should buy the Nordictrack bike or the Peloton bike. And this video is going to be basically just the highlights of the true things that you should really focus on when making a decision between these two bikes. So make sure you stay for the whole video, and especially make sure you pay attention to the end of the video, because I don't want you to buy the wrong indoor exercise bike for you. Because these are expensive bikes and you don't want to buy the wrong one. They're big, they're heavy, they're hard to return. But if you do buy the right one, I think you're going to be really happy with your purchase. In the past, I made a video with the S27i versus the Peloton Bike Plus. I really dived into all the technical details, and you can watch that video if you want to see all the technical details. Basically, these new Nordictrack bikes have just been improved a little bit, and the S27i has a larger screen. So both these bikes are about $2,500. The Peloton Bike Plus is pretty much entry level $2,500. You still need to buy the shoes, and of course you need to buy that membership, which is now $44 a month on the Peloton bike. Now the Nordictrack S27i is $2,500, but that is basically all inclusive. You don't need to buy any special shoes or anything on that bike, and it does come with a trial membership, and the membership in general is cheaper on iFit. So both bikes do need a membership to use them. Well, you can use either bike, but if you want to use the classes, you need to have a membership. Also, I should mention, you don't need to buy the top tier model in either of these bikes. Nowadays, you can actually go on Amazon and buy the standard Peloton bike for about $1,500. I do have a link below this video to see that listing on Amazon, as well as a link to the current pricing for the Nordictrack bikes. You could buy the S22i right now for just under $2,000, and you can actually get the S15i for free if you buy a 4-year membership of iFit, which is the subscription you'll need to use Nordictrack. So before we talk about the major differences between these two bikes, I'll tell you about some of the similarities. They both have magnetic resistance. They both have automatic adjusting resistance. They both have excellent drivetrains. They both have rotating touchscreen displays. They both have good audio systems. And overall, both the bikes are actually really good. So to start with some of the differences, obviously the S27i screen is much larger, 27 inches versus 24 inches on the Peloton Bike Plus. It really is a massive difference. So on the S27i, the screen is a much more immersive experience. And speaking of immersive, the scenic rides on iFit and Nordictrack, that's really like the #1 thing you're going to want to take into consideration when buying either of these bikes. What kind of rides do you want to do? If you want to do outdoor rides where you get to try out riding in new locations all around the world, Nordictrack and iFit is probably going to be the way you want to go. So the Nordictrack bikes do a really good job simulating riding up and down hills with the automatic decline and automatic incline as you're following along with the instructor that will match the grades that you're going on and riding the bike. And then also it has a fan below it to kind of blow some breeze in your face. Just makes for like a really good immersive experience riding outdoor, exploring new areas and new locations on the map. So if you don't care about the outdoor rides or the incline and decline or the fan and all that stuff, and what you want to do is listen to the latest and greatest, most popular music and choreographed rides, studio rides, Peloton's gonna be for you. So on the Peloton Bike Plus, the audio is up here on the top, the speakers face towards you. There's also a subwoofer on the back, so you get better audio for sure on the Peloton Bike Plus. On the S27i, they have the speakers facing forward on the newer models. The older models had speakers in the back. They didn't sound so good. These ones sound a lot better on the S27i, but still not as good as the Peloton Bike Plus. Peloton is just killing it in terms of instructor indoor studio rides. So pretty much if studio rides is your thing, if you like doing this kind of rides, the Peloton is going to be a great choice for you. They do an excellent job doing these style rides. And on the Peloton bike, pretty much what you're going to get down here is like your cadence, your power output, and your resistance number all here. To adjust the resistance on the Peloton bike, you use this little knob right here. It does have automatic adjusting resistance, which you can see how all that stuff works in my other videos. But really, I mean, you get all of this same stuff in a different way over here on the Nordictrack bike. But the studio rides, if this is your jam, these kind of rides, Peloton is for you. Now over here on the S27i, the Nordictrack bike, this is much more focused on outdoor rides. As we can see right here from the home screen, we have this Puerto Rico ride, Utah, California, Iceland. Scrolling on over here, we have Hawaii, Norway, Japan, another Hawaii ride. And there are, like some studio rides, but it's really just not their focus on iFit and Nordictrack anymore. So I'm kind of curious about this Tahoe one because I actually have a trip coming up there soon. So pulling up the ride here, you just start the workout, same way as on Peloton. Load screens aren't excellent on the Nordictrack bikes. It takes, you know, a moment to load, but it's not too bad. So here it is. So after a little intro, you get thrown straight into the ride here. We heard the incline automatically adjust up, and then here we are riding along right behind the instructor. So pretty much all the iFit rides are going to turn out being like this. It's, you know, they're showing a little B-roll here, basically some beautiful scenery, and then it's going to go back into riding right behind the instructor here in just a moment. And iFit is just killing it, you know, with these sort of rides. Their instructors are excellent, and you get to just really get out and explore all these new areas that, you know, you wouldn't be able to ride in this many new areas unless, you know, you're like a pro athlete and you get to travel the world and see all this stuff like these people do. So long story short, if this is your sort of style, you like doing outdoor instructor led rides like this, Nordictrack and iFit is going to be the way to go for you. And on the Nordictrack bikes, you get all of your same metrics like your incline, your watts up here, your cadence, how fast you're pedaling, your resistance number. You can adjust all this stuff up here on the screen. Incline you can adjust right over here. Resistance you can adjust over there, as well as right up here on the handlebars. As I was saying, one of the things that makes the Nordictrack even more better at the outdoor kind of rides is it does have the incline and decline feature on the bike. So it like actually simulates going up and down hills, and then you also have a fan so it can like simulate wind blowing in your face as you ride as well. And that fan is actually really beneficial while doing rides, because when you're riding these exercise bikes, you're gonna get hot and sweaty, and it's really nice having a fan. So Peloton does have scenic outdoor instructor-led classes, but they're just not as nearly as good as iFit and Nordictrack. And of course, Nordictrack has the studio rides, but I would say, in my opinion, they're just not as good as what Peloton has. So maybe some other things that you should take into consideration is the maximum weight capacity of the Peloton bike or Peloton Bike Plus is just under 300 pounds, whereas the Nordictrack bikes, whether it's the S22i or S27i, max weight capacity is 350 pounds. The Nordictrack bikes are definitely a little bit more beefy, robust machines than the Peloton. Not to say that the Peloton bike isn't, because it is a pretty robust machine as well. Another difference between these two bikes, even though they're both magnetic automatic adjusting resistance, the Nordictrack bikes actually don't have a resistance knob down on the frame of the bike. All the controls are up on the handlebars, so you can adjust your incline and decline manually as well as automatically, just at the convenience of the thumb controls up by your hands or on the screen. The Peloton bike does have the automatic adjusting resistance, or I should say the Peloton Bike Plus has automatic adjusting resistance, but if you want to manually adjust the resistance on the Peloton Bike Plus or the Peloton bike, you have to reach down and turn the resistance knob. So really the final and probably a very important thing that you're going to want to take into consideration with either of these bikes is the subscription price. Peloton recently just increased their subscription price up to $44 per month. And you have to pay that $44 per month, even if it's just one person or 5 people. You have to pay that in order to use this bike every month and do those studio rides or pretty much make any use of this bike at all. And when you buy the Peloton bike or Peloton Bike Plus, it doesn't come with like any sort of free membership trial or anything like that. You pretty much have to pay that fee every month. Now the Nordictrack bikes, you're gonna save a little bit of money over the Peloton bike for sure in terms of the membership cost. But in general, the iFit membership, there's different levels you can choose, and you can get it quite a bit cheaper. It really just depends on like how you end up paying it. You could buy like 1 year up front, and you can also choose like an individual plan or family plan with iFit, and you can actually end up saving a considerable amount of money on the subscription costs of a Nordictrack iFit membership. So even though both these bikes cost about the same amount of money up front, long term you might end up paying a lot more money for subscription costs with the Peloton bike. So if you want to see what the current rates are for the membership on iFit, I have a link below this video. see what kind of special offers they have going for the Nordictrack S27i. I also have a link to the Peloton bike, which you can actually buy the standard Peloton bike on Amazon now for about $1,500. It'll actually be delivered to your door in about 2 days, depending on where you live. So really, both bikes are great. Just, studio rides for Peloton, outdoor rides for Nordictrack. If you want to help support the channel, I do have a link below the video in the description box. And if you bought through that link, it would help support the channel at no additional cost to you. However, of course, if these bikes are out of your price or you don't care about these, I do have more budget-friendly bike reviews on my channel. So if you want to learn more about either of these bikes or a budget bike, watch this video here now.